Okay, let's get started on this again. I'm going to talk on the New World Order, a New World Order church. There is a New World Order church coming, and it's coming quickly, under Agenda 21. I've got the time. The time is 2:40 in the afternoon, 14:40, on the 29th, on the 30th of August 2015. 14:40 and 13th of August 2015. I'm doing this blog entry. A New World Order church is going to be called the False Prophet. It's coming under Agenda 21, and the church will be forced to do things which are against what the Bible talks about. For a start, we'll have to accept all religions as diversity of a person's belief, and all religions as one way to heaven. That is not correct at all. Logic tells me, everything tells me, that is very wrong, and that is stupid. But that's part of what I'm going to say. Secondly, pastors who call homosexuality sin will be charged and arrested. It will become illegal. And the feminists will raid the churches to force that to happen. That is coming. So you won't be able to preach the truth. As soon as you start to preach the truth, you'll be arrested on discrimination and vilification. The church will be forced to be closed. That is going to create massive problems, and that's going to bring God's anger upon the world. I will not enter that. Homosexuality is sin, and that is it, full stop, end of story. God's word tells me that, and what God's word tells me is what I believe is to be 100% truth. Nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. 100% truth. And we must believe that. God's word is our way of living. The state is going to come in and take over. The role of church and state is going to be separated. It's going to become one. So the state will run the church and its beliefs. Not the church come under Christ. The church will come under the state. Dead wrong. Over the last 200 years, church and state have been two separate issues in New South Wales, or in Australia, and in America, and in Western countries. No more under Agenda 21. That will become a thing of the past. We'll have to accept all the doctrines they teach. We'll have to accept all the heresies they want to preach. Things such as feminist, socialist, Marxist, which are dead against religion anyway. So a Catholic church will have to accept the doctrine of a Buddhist. A Jewish will have to accept the doctrine of an Islamic person. All churches will be forced to accept homosexual ministers. The church will become a perverted piece of garbage which God actually condemns. It won't be a church of God, it will be a church of man, a church under the state. Thus, the church will become wicked. Thus, it will become the false prophet. Be prepared, that is what's happening right now. And I'm showing you out of news articles. When the church is forced to preach and teach what the state tells it to, that is wrong. Very, very, very wrong. The church should preach and teach what God tells it to through its own doctrinal evidence, through its own belief systems. And the only time the state comes in and takes over is when things such as murder or abduction or theft or criminal action, that is a different thing entirely. That's against God anyway. But as for the areas of sexuality, areas of other religions, and things of that nature, it's none of the government's business. None of the homosexual activists' business. None of the gay and right to lesbian groups' business. None of the GLBT business. They can go and stuff out of that. They can accept what we believe, go and jump or lump, because the state and the church are not one. until Christ returns, the state and the church will be separate. But the church, as long as the church doesn't break the criminal code and the areas such as murder, rape, that sort of thing, that's when it should be outlawed. It's quite okay. But not under Agenda 21. Under Agenda 21, the way the world's going now, the state and church have been melded into one body, one set of doctrinal teachings, one set of heresies. I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much. Bye for now.